Ja, dit is al de derde keer in 2 weken dat ik hier in de week heb. Dus ik ben gewend te raken. Mooi woord. Dat geloof ik, ja. Dat geloof ik, ja. Wordt ze niet zo? Dat is misschien leuker. Ik ben er 1 keer geweest. Het is wel echt in het stadion. Ja, precies, ja. here it comes.
Okay, everybody, good morning here. I wish you a very warm welcome, all visitors, speakers, sponsors, to the 9th International Camp Venlo here. And also, please, a big high five to the people online. We are live on YouTube streams. So before we start with the event, we have some practical information about today. For many of you who have been here many times, so they know about it. But I also know that there are many new people here. So please raise your hands when it's your first time here at the bar camp. Wow, big applause, thank you. And just a curious question, as this is the 9th time, who has been here for 9 times? Oh, Daniel, Michael, Ben, Andrea, I don't know, that guy over there. So a big applause, and also for the people who are new here, if you have some questions, please ask those people, because they are the experts. As this is an international event, we have many people here from the Netherlands, of course, and as we're close to the German border, a lot of German people are around. But this is a really international event, and we're always very proud of it. So please raise your hand when you're not from Germany or not from the Netherlands. Hi, there we have some guys. Matthias from Norway, Jim a little bit from States. And over there we have the Fonte students. Please a warm welcome. Whereabouts are you from? Sorry? Poland. Poland. Okay, great. And one special guy is standing over there, special on his way from France yesterday. Jonathan, thank you very much. And then a little bit more practical information about the event. My name is Lenssen. I'm one of the hosts for this event, together with a team. I will present that later. As you may have seen already on the sides, on the signs, the Wi-Fi password is over there, so you can always be there and be online. Of course, we will be active on social media. Some for Twitter, X, Facebook, and also the live stream is at TYPO3 Camp Venlo. Please share this event as much as possible and all your experience about it. For the people from the TYPO3 community to know about this link, it's an online tool to share notes about this event. If you have something to share, please put it on there with other people so we can share that and use that together. I know some of you already mentioned it. If you have food allergies or special diet wishes, please come to the organization deck or the people from the counter here. They will take care of it. For the vegetarians, the food is already there and that will be taken care of. Yeah, just some general thing about the GDPR, etc. If there are some things you are concerned of, please come to me or Patrick or other people at the organization decks to ask questions or your concerns, and then we can take care of. Some practical information. There will be a TYPO3 certification in the afternoon. It will be not in this location. Andreas is around all the way in the back. Can you please stand a little bit? Thank you, Andreas. So right after lunch, we can go to the library, which is outside this building and to the right over there. A map is also at the registration desk, and you can join with Andreas to the library for the registrations. This is also a map, and you can see the building over there. Next, yeah. Yes, we have this beautiful event, and as many of you know, I'm not operational involved anymore at Beach. So for me, this event was something to think of. What will I do with this event? Will it be continued as? For me, there was a very easy answer for that. You can see it today. When I see the last months about this event and about the community, it made me very enthusiastic. All the energy and inspiration which is coming from you all guys, they make me very happy. So thank you all for that, and create me a great event. Thank you all. Yeah, and this event, one of those things we did with a great team, with Patrick, with the beautiful ladies over there, with the team, in a few hours talk, some mails and some connections, we organized this event. We have almost 20 speakers, we have a lot of sponsors, all the communication done very easy with a team, which gave me a lot of energy, and I think we have a beautiful event with a lot of inspiration, and I hope you will feel that same feeling at the end of today as well. And for that, first of all, we're going to big clapping round. Thank you very much, all the speakers who are here all on voluntary basis, and I know it takes a lot of time to prepare for your session. Thank you all for being here and share your inspiration here. Thank you. And of course, this event would not have been possible with the financial support with our sponsors. So therefore, we would like to thank our sponsors for this event. And I would like to ask the people to come over here for a small thing about this event. So thank you, sponsors. First of all, the people from Beach. Look at that way. So yeah, Mr. Beach himself, Ruud. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution here over here. We had some small organizational issues, but yeah, you will find Patrick. So thank you, Beach, for the support of this event. And then we go to the next one, KM2. I don't know who's coming over here. Sky, yeah. Guy, we already discussing yesterday and in the past few months. Thank you very much for the support of this event. Yeah, it's really good to see you, not only in financial, but also in manpower to support this event. And yeah, it's very great to see. Thank you very much. And then already from the start of the beginning, they are here for a long time contribution. Ronnie, I saw you somewhere, all the way in the back. So thank you, MagSurf, for all your contribution all this time. Oh, it's already there. Yeah, another special sponsor. For the first time a sponsor this year, but in the person of Patrick already involved for a long time in this event. So I can give it to you, Or I don't know where Ben is coming.
Ben is coming.
Ben is coming? Okay. So, Inge, okay. Yes, sorry. Hey, thank you very much for your contribution.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have to be careful here. And then we also have some value sponsors here today. I haven't seen Michiel, but he was over there. Also a very long time supporter of this camp and speaker. I saw some old pictures last week. Thank you very much, Michiel, for your support. Yeah. And the next one is already stepping up. Martin Midwald. Thank you. First time sponsor.
Thank you.
It was great. We just had great chats last night. And let's see for the contributions to that. Thank you. Oh. And last but not least, we have some supporters. Ben H. of Pierce. Yes, please stand up. Thank you very much for supporting this event. Not only financially, but also in some manpower. Thank you very much. Oh, of course, yeah, it's good to see you back. You were there 13 years ago, 11 years ago, at the start of the first camp. You remember that at Fontes University, together with Richard. So that was good to see that. And good to see you back here around. Thank you very much. And also a long-time supporter from the beginning, Wind Internet from Friesland. As far as I know, nobody is here. But a big applause for Wind Internet as well for the support. As already said, you all know about it, this event would not have been possible without the team. And I'm really happy with a great team to organize this event. So I think they are in the back there, so I will get them. I know at least one of them doesn't want to be on stage, but big applause for these ladies, and thank you very much for helping out. It's not just their beautiful smile, but just a quick question, and you were all supporting, whether it's communication, sponsors, speakers, or adjusting the slides presentation, arranging t-shirt. Thank you very much for all your support. Thank you. Yeah. One person is missing here is Jolene. She is back home. She's taking care of the sick dog. So pity she couldn't be there, but also thank you very much, Jolene. Yeah, and over there we have Patrick, who already mentioned. So thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you. And Ben, yeah, who already mentioned as well. Thank you very much. Yeah. But outside of the team, we had some helping hands. So we also have, Mirna is going away because she arranged it. So thank you very much, Jan, for this nice shirt again. And we really discussed last night in the Café Centraal. It's the next generation QR code of this beautiful location. So thank you, Jan, for this beautiful shirt. So a small side note to it, you can see it's timeless. So we also want to go with the time. So this is one of the starts where we say we would like to keep it for the next years as well. Because many of you know all the big pile of t-shirts from all the events we have. So that's about that. And then already mentioned, thank you, Jonathan, for each year coming over here and making those great pictures. Thank you very much. And also, we would like to thank the complete TYPO3 GmbH team, and special Marcus also for all the visuals we had in the socials. So thank you very much, Marcus and team, for that. And as you always already here for 5 years, and everything is taken care of very nicely, so by a nice video team. So thank you, video team, for the registration here. Thank you very much. And also the location here, it's always a pleasure to be here. The first step we get in here, it's always feeling home here. So thank you very much, Dumani, for this event location. But then, of course, what's an event without visitors? So a big applause for yourself. Thank you for being here again. Yeah, this is a nice picture from last year. So. As you many of you know, we are really connected to the TYPO3 community. And I would like to bring some small events, coming events for this year to your attention, so that you know about it. First, in 2 weeks, we have the Camp in Germany, in Dresden. So I know a lot of people will be there. And then already in 1.5 months, we have the General Assembly in Zurich that will take place just 1 day before the camp of Zurich. And then, of course, we have the Developer Days in 1st of August in Karlsruhe. Luisa and Daniel will tell about it later on in their talk. But you have to be fast because the early bird tickets are already sold for 50%. So grab your tickets soon. And then a very special attention as well to our friends from Warnoer. Several people are already here. We all work together and they make also a contribution in the organization team and all the support. So thank you very much, Rijn-Roer, for being here and helping us out as well. Thank you. And then it's already the end of the year and we have next year. So also I would like to have your attention for next year. You can put it already in your calendar. That it was just a little bit to this year. That's the T3Con, which is at the end of November in Düsseldorf. But I would like to have your attention for this one. It's already next year. Then in February, because Carnival is very late next year, I hope you all will be here again then. Yeah, you have all seen the program online. You can see it in the foyer as well. For the people who are new here, this is the main room where we have the tracks on the left side. You can see on the shadow. And for the new people around here, the chapel, the second room, you can go around that curtain and it's right to the opposite. It's a really nice location. It's a formal. It's used as a wedding chapel, so I don't know who has plans today. But it's a very beautiful location, and there will be the next sessions. And yeah, for me, it's very great that we have a mix of people who are around here, are all about software development, open source software, about sharing communities and inspiration. And it makes me really proud. And of course, the most important thing, I think, please have a lot of fun today. I hope you have a lot of inspiration and connection together and enjoy it today. Then that was my introduction for today, but the most important things start now. That will be the sessions. So we will have the first session right now. I am really honored to announce Carlijn to you. I know she has a very inspirational talk about several things.
I'm really proud of working together with Canon for 4 years in a very intensive way, and it gave me a lot of energy and connection and inspiration. And we just met a few weeks ago. There was a very warm welcome connection. I really remembered it because she has a big wall on the big wall with a big poster on it with all the events of this year. And there was one big cross on it, and that was for today. So I'm really honored you are in there. And also about your talk, it's about the human connection between software, where we are all about, but software is not creating just some lines of code. We all know that, but we're really happy to see all your C's coming around. And please, a warm welcome for Carlijn Compen.
Je moet even naar slide 1, denk ik. Ik zal er even uitgaan.
Ja, inderdaad. Slimmer. Er staat een hand. Oh, come on.
Dat is de demo-effect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, is it coming? Yeah, there it is. Ah, good. Applause. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I think I've never been at an event where there was already so much applause in the first 30 minutes. So that's a very nice way to start the day, I think. I'm very happy to be here. I want to talk to you about the human touch, getting the hard stuff right in software development. And I like to think, well, Edward just told, I'm from Canon Production Printing. And what we do is, we make printers. We develop products. And I like to think that developing products is quite similar to giving a presentation. To do a good job, you need to know your audience, your customer. Who are you making your product for? So today, I want to get to know you a little bit better. I already saw a lot of faces and names popping up, so I already know you a little bit. But to get to know you even better, we're going to start with a little quiz. It's called the Let's Get in Touch quiz. Well, that sounds good, right? It's only a couple of questions, and you cannot win any prizes. I'm sorry about that. But I hope you want to participate. So let's start with question number 1. When was the first time that you made a print? Sorry? Oh, did I say first? Oh, I meant last. When was the last time you made a print? We're going to do it by raise of hands. Who made a print today? Edward! Thank you very much. Who made a print yesterday? Oh, quite a lot of people. Is there anyone who made a print like last week? Oh, also quite a lot of people. Are there also people here who cannot even remember the last time they made a print? Yeah, I was sort of expecting this. So looking at these answers, I'm happy people are still printing, by the way. But you could argue print is dead. All right. Well, question number 2. Which industry do you think is the biggest industry? We're going to do it by raise of hands again. Who thinks the music industry is the biggest industry? No one? Okay, interesting. Who thinks video games is the biggest industry? A couple of people. Maybe some gamers also in the audience. Who thinks print is the biggest industry? And last but not least, who thinks the semiconductor industry is the biggest? Yeah, I was expecting this. And of course, the semiconductor industry is growing like crazy. But I have some figures from 2022. And you can see print is actually the biggest industry. Semiconductor industry is really catching up. So I think if I do this talk in 2 years from now, it maybe look different, but still print is a very, very big industry. Well, how is that possible, you think? Because not a lot of people print a lot of stuff anymore. But actually, a lot of stuff is still being printed. Think about newspapers, think about books, think about signage, think about the clothes you're wearing. It's often printed on textile. Think about wallpaper, those kind of things. So there is still a lot of print in the world. So we can say print is not that. Well, it makes me happy. I work at a printing company. And now we go to the third question, which is the easiest question of all. Who has ever bought a book online, like on Amazon or on bol.com? Almost everyone. I was expecting this answer, of course. You may not know it, but a lot of book printing is still done on traditional offset presses. And this market and this volume is actually declining. But what's growing is digital printed books. So when you buy a book on Amazon, when it's not like in the top 10 bestseller list, it is printed when you order it. You push that button and a printer goes to work. And it's a very high chance it's actually printed on a Canon printer, which I like. I want to show you a short video of, maybe it's not coming yet. Oh, I'll do that later. I have one more question on the book market. How fast do you think that this digital book printing market is growing? I saved the most difficult question for last. Who thinks 3%? No one. 5%? 7? And 9? I think most of you had the correct answer. It's 7% actually. So it shows that the digital book printing market is really, really growing market, and it's a very interesting market for us. I want to show you a short clip of Amazon, of one of their production factories just outside of Chicago. And what you basically see is how they produce books. I condensed it a lot because it's not a very short process. Here it is. Does it work? And the sound?
Now, the second type of printing that we do is what we call cut sheet. We have these large printers that pretty much print books. So we have a large fleet of printers. You'll notice that we have quite a bit. This is just one side of our building. And then, you see here, the books are coming down the line, and they're cut down the side. So here we have a finished book. And you'll notice that every book is unique coming down the line. We have novels, we have coloring books, we have textbooks. So it truly is made on demand.
Yeah, so what you saw is that all these books that come out are actually different, which is the big benefit of digital printing. Because if you use offset presses, you can produce a lot of books, but they're all the same. And this is the big benefit. So the next time you order that book, when you press that button, you can think back about this video, and then you know a bit how it's made. So thanks for participating. This was my getting to know you a little bit better. I'm not sure if we have a winner, but I also don't have a prize, so I think that doesn't really matter. But what's actually at the heart of a quiz is also what's the key message of my talk today. Because at the heart of a quiz, I think, is curiosity, wanting to discover things, wanting to find out about things. And working in the high-tech industry and in the software industry, I think it requires a lot of hard skills. Those are super important. But my talk today is about soft skills. It's about the other stuff that you also need. How important are soft skills in software development? How important are they for you to work together with other people? And that's what we're going to explore today. Before we do that, I want to show you this picture. Do you know which painting it is, or where it comes from? Anyone? Rome, yes, it's in Venice. Sistine Chapel, it's painted by Michelangelo, it's on the ceiling, yes. It's quite appropriate in this setting. This is part of a fresco, which is called The Creation of Adam. And what you see in this image is the touch of God. He gives life to Adam. And I really like to use this picture to show what I think the power of software is. Because I think software can bring stuff to life. At Canon, we make print systems, and we do that in multidisciplinary teams. So we have people in mechanics, physics, chemistry, electronics, software, of course. And without any of those, we cannot make our products. But the thing that really adds the behavior to our products, the thing that people interact with, it's the software. The software is the heart and the soul of our machines. And for me, I really like to use this as a metaphor. So let me tell you something quickly about Canon. You probably know Canon, like this. Canon is like a super big brand in cameras. What you might not know is that cameras is not one of the growth areas of Canon. The growth areas are in business to business. It's in medical equipment, it's in network cameras, it's also sort of camera, but it's for like security systems. OLED equipment, and also commercial print. And commercial print, that's what we do at Canon Production Printing. And we actually do it right around the corner here in Venlo. Our headquarters is based here. And here is also our largest R&D site. In the R&D of Canon Production Printing, we have about 1,000 people in 3 locations. So the biggest site is in Venlo, then we have a site near Munich, and we have a software development site in Romania, in Timișoara. And together, all these people work on these very innovative print systems. So we are one of the top 10 investors in R&D in the Netherlands, and we rank every year in the top 5 of patent registration. So we do a lot of innovations, also in the software domain, by the way. I want to show you one example of the products that we make, just to give you a view. This is an example from the Arizona product. We call this a flatbed printer. Basically, it's a very big table. You put something on it, and the print heads move across it, and they print. So you can print on anything, as long as it's flat. And I've seen customers do very interesting things. Of course, there's customers who print like signs and boards and those kind of things. I saw also customers who print on darts boards, you know, throw the arrows at, guitars, wooden crates. I even saw a customer who prints on toilet seats, which I thought was also very interesting. So you can do basically whatever you want. And for this printer, we also developed something special, and we call it our elevated print technology. And basically, it means that you can add a texture on top of your print. And what you see in these images is Clemens, my colleague. He's working on a giant reproduction of the painting of Vermeer, the girl with the pearl earring, which is currently on display in the Mauritshuis in The Hague. And it's huge, it's 4 by 4 meters. And it actually shows all the brush strokes just as it was painted. And the great thing about this is that you can touch it. You can go up there and you can touch this painting. And I brought an example, a small one. I couldn't bring the 4 by 4. If you're interested, you can come after my talk and check it out. You can just touch this. You can feel actually how the paint was put on the painting, but then print it. So we have a lot of customers who use this for making art reproductions. So this is just one example of what we do. And we don't just develop the printers who do this, but of course we also develop the software to be able to make these elevations, because you need to prepare these jobs, so we also do that. Well, all of this we do in our team, and in my team. So I'm the Vice President Software Development at Canon Production Printing. We have about 200 software developers in Venlo and in Romania. And together they work on the controllers inside these print systems, but also on all the application software to create, for example, these files. Well, now I know a little bit about you. You know a little bit about Canon. And now I think it's almost time for me to share something very personal. But I first need to drink some water. Because I have a little confession to make. And it always makes me a bit nervous when I talk about this, because it's something that I don't really like to share in public. But still, we've gotten acquainted, so I think now I feel okay sharing it with you. Are you ready? Here it comes. I like to touch things. Yeah. So let me explain why. I'm not going to touch you, by the way, don't worry. But my background is in industrial design. I was trained to create things, objects, that you can interact with, that you can touch. That's what I do. That's how I was educated. It's also what I like to do. And here I am today, leading a team of 200 people who all make stuff that I cannot touch. And for me, it's very difficult and it's very challenging. And to be honest, I think it's not just something that I find challenging, because we work in a large multidisciplinary company, and I see the same thing with all these people who don't have a background in software development. They just think, what are these guys doing all day? Sitting behind their computer, writing a lot of code, but you cannot touch it. So, something else first. I was talking to this guy a while ago, and he said, software actually is like bacteria. It's everywhere, but you cannot see it. And it just keeps on growing. Every single day, it just keeps on growing. And it just gets out of control sometimes, but it's like bacteria. And I really like this metaphor. So, yeah, bacteria, I also cannot touch them. Or maybe I will touch them, but I don't know. And also in today's world, the developments are going so fast. So like AI, everybody's talking about AI. And I think it's very exciting, but a lot of people are also very scared about AI and the developments in the world. Let me show you two graphs. This is the first one. This is a study that was done in the US about AI. It's about, do people find it exciting, or are they really concerned about AI? And you see that the majority of people is more concerned than excited about AI. And also this number is growing. I think I can understand in a way that that is happening. I have another study that I found that a lot of people, this is like the bacteria I just mentioned, they asked people, do you ever use AI? 33% of people said, there's 6,000 people worldwide, yeah, I use AI. But in reality, it was like 77% of people who was actually using AI features. They just don't know. And then they said, do you understand what AI is? 70% said, yes, we know what AI is. But if you then look, like 50% don't understand that AI can solve problems. 35% don't understand that AI can mimic human beings. So basically, there's a big knowledge gap between a lot of people and the technology that is developing at such a rapid speed. And for me, this is part of the job, I think, that we have in the software community. It's not just to keep developing these great products and work on these exciting technologies. It's also to make sure that people understand what is actually happening. What are we doing and how is it helping them? And that's also how I like to look at my job at Canon. So I don't just want to develop the software discipline and make sure that we do great products. But I also want to bridge the gap between software development and all the other people that we have in the company. And I also want to focus on what matters most for our customers, what adds the most value. So, now it's time to talk about soft skills, because I said you need a lot of hard skills, but soft skills are also very important. And I think we need 3 specific soft skills to be successful. Here they are: curiosity, courage, and connection. They all start with my favorite letter, and it's also easier to remember them if they all start with the same letter. So let's dive into curiosity first. Curiosity is about wanting to learn things, wanting to discover things, wanting to find out new things. And of course, it's also super important when you're developing your skills. But I think the most important thing you need to be curious about are your customers. For us at Canon, our customers are some of the world's biggest print companies out there. Together they make like gazillions of prints every year. And for us, it's really crucial to understand them, because they rely on us to be successful in their business. We're a B2B company, so they really depend on us. And when you go to these people, to these customers, you often see them like this. They touch stuff, they scratch stuff, this is a guy smelling the prints. People use magnifying glasses, they use all kinds of tools, all to examine every print, because everything needs to be perfect, the stuff that comes out of this printer. So these people are also very touchy people, like me. They also like to touch stuff, just like me, so I'm not alone in this. And printing, in a way, is all about touching people with emotions. And that's why I think to be able to be successful in this industry, we need to know our customers, but I think it's true for every industry. Product development is an iterative process, you know that, huh? And at Canon, we have installed several roles of people who have a responsibility to look into the customer. We have design researchers who go out into the field, talk to customers, find out what's going on there, and they also bring this information into our organization to inspire people, to let them grow their awareness about our customers. We have, of course, architects who translate the user needs into requirements. We have quality leads who are responsible for the question, are we making the right product? And they do validations throughout product development. We have usability researchers who do testing. We have a test lab in which we invite customers. They use our products. We put people in a room to observe it, especially the people who make stuff that is then being tested, because that's always very nice to see how people actually use it and if they really understand. And we also have business support engineers who are basically on the borderline between sales and our R&D organization. We make complex products. There's a lot of complex technology in it. And our sales force, of course, they are technically skilled, but they need some help sometimes to understand all the developments and all the stuff we put in our machines. So these people are really there to support that process. And this is all nice, but I think that all developers and engineers need to know something about customers. Because everybody makes so many decisions during a day. You pick an item of a backlog, you start working on it. It really helps to have a good knowledge of your customer. Because the tiny decisions you make, they all have a big impact on what the final product is going to be. So I would like to encourage all of you to go out there, find your customers, talk to them. Sometimes it's not easy, especially if you're in a big organization. You can start by talking to your colleagues who see customers, ask them questions, and make the customer very important in everything you do. Because it will lead to better products, will lead to happier customers, which will lead to happier everyone, I think. Now it's time for the second soft skill. Courage. Yes. So, for me, curiosity is very important. You need to be curious about your customers. But only being curious isn't enough. You need curiosity to discover what your customers want, and then you need to do something with it. And doing something with it, that requires courage, especially the courage to make decisions. So I want to show you an example, because I think the main point where we interact with our customers through our products is the user interface. It's basically where the customer touches us and where we touch the customer. That's where we touch. And if you look at this user interface, you might think it's quite empty. There's not a lot of information on it. This is part of a printer that you saw in the video of Amazon, a printer that prints books. And what we did here is, this is a very old example, by the way. I was hesitating if I should use it. This design was made in 2006, when we first introduced this machine. It basically shows an operator of a printer when he needs to put paper in the machine, because that's the main thing. The printer can never stop. It should always run. So we designed a very clean user interface for this. It doesn't mean that there's not a lot of functionality in this machine. We just chose which information is the most relevant to display to the customer. And the reason we still have this, almost 20 years later, of course we did some visual updates, etc. But the reason we still have it is because it's so much appreciated. People cannot live without this anymore. It's what they use. It's their primary interaction point. And of course there's a lot more functionality. But our designers and developers have chosen what the most important is, and they were able to do this because they understand our customers. They did a lot of validations during development. But in the end, it also requires courage. Because we have all these people who develop amazing features and amazing functionality. So you think, yeah, it's all great, we should put it all in. But if you end up with an unusable product, well, then your features also are not that great anymore. So it requires courage to leave things out. Leaving things out, I think, is much more difficult than putting stuff in. Now we're going on a little trip. Who knows where this picture was taken? Correct. Who has ever been to Japan? Good. I want to talk about Japan for a little bit. I lived in Japan for 2 years, and I worked there, and it was a great time. And I lived there in this tiny apartment, because a lot of things are very tiny in Japan, especially the houses. I think it was like 35 square meters, but it had a lot of buttons. There were buttons everywhere in my apartment. I'm going to show you a couple. So this is an interesting UI. Who knows what this is for? Yes, 10 points. It has a lot of interesting features. I'm not going to explain them into detail now, but well, this was an interesting panel of buttons in my apartment. This is another one. Any guesses what this is for? Sort of. It's to open the door and the intercom to talk to people, but it's also the security system. It's a fine line to cross. I experienced that firsthand, so it's very complicated also because everything is in Japanese, of course, but you could use it to set the alarm, but also to open the door. And sometimes it would just start talking to me, and I would have no clue what to do. So it's a very interesting panel as well. Then this one. Any ideas? Say again? Almost. It was in my kitchen. It is to set the temperature of the water. Yeah, yeah. And this pink button that you see on the right, in the middle, that's my favorite button. It's actually to fill the bath upstairs in the bathroom. And it was downstairs in my kitchen. It took me like a month to figure out, because I would come in the bathroom and I would, who filled the tub? But it was me. I just pushed the button. I had no clue what it did. So it's an interesting button. Then this one I want to talk about a little bit longer. What do you think this is for? I'll give you it. It's air conditioning. You see there's quite a lot of buttons, huh? If you make an air conditioning, can you give me some features that you would need? Temperature, yes. Airflow, humidity. Power. I can think of another one, whether it should swing or not, those kind of things. But you see there's a lot more buttons, huh? And the interesting thing is, this was a panel that was attached to my wall, and you could actually open it up, and there was even a lot more buttons. And I have no clue what they do, but it was all there. And if this is not enough for you, there was also a remote control, which also had like this sliding panel with even more buttons. So yeah, I think this is like everything you could ever want. And for me, I like to use these examples to illustrate that I think this is one of the biggest differences in approach, in philosophy between the Western world and also Japanese world. Because the example I just showed you, we, over here, we feel we need to make a lot of decisions for our customer to give them a better experience, to give them a better product. In Japan, I learned it's the other way around. They develop a lot of features. They're all very important. And who am I as a developer to choose for a customer what he thinks is important, what he will need? We should give it all to them, and then they can choose. And for me, this is really a key difference, and it's all about finding the right balance between usability and flexibility. And I think there's no right or wrong. It's different cultures. People also have different expectations. And in the end, everybody wants to make a good product for their customer. But I'm from the Western world. I really, really believe that we need to make decisions, and that requires courage. So that is my second soft skill that I find very important. Now, we go to the third one. Does anyone remember what it was? I heard it. Connection, yes. So, as a software professional, I think you need to connect to the people around you. And we see that also at Canon. I mentioned a couple of times, we work with a lot of other disciplines. There's a lot of people with a background in mechanical development, in electronics, physics, chemistry. We develop our own inks, for example, so we have a lot of chemistry people. But as a software developer, it's important that you learn to connect to these people. And I will explain to you why. I think in a lot of industries, we are under a lot of pressure. A lot of time pressure, a lot of cost pressure. Things need to be more efficient, more effective, also more sustainable. And for us, it means that we are changing the way we develop products. We are relying a lot more these days on making virtual models of everything that happens in our printers. Virtual models, machine learning, AI, all these things are super important, and they're also very important for us. So basically what we are doing is we're building virtual print systems now to support us during product development, which is, I think, very exciting. I will explain about it a bit more to you, but before I go in there, I also want to show you what modeling and models were before. This gentleman right here, he's like a local celebrity in Venlo, I think, is actually the first model maker that we have at our company. He retired in the meantime. His name is Hai Goud. He's actually a knight. He was honored by the King of the Netherlands because of appreciation for all his work as a volunteer. For example, in the OC Museum. OC is the previous name of our company before we were acquired by Canon. And Hai is a real craftsman. He makes models of our printers, but from wood. Let me show you a vintage example. I found this photograph in the archive. What he did, what his job was to create a product. Well, it looked like a finished product, but it didn't do anything. It was just a mock-up. And it was used for various things, for marketing purposes, because back in the day, you couldn't do renderings or whatever. You just had to take pictures. And if you had to wait until a product was completely developed and then you start taking your pictures and making your brochures, it's very, very late. So we had Hai, and Hai made these models, and they were there from the start. And it's really sped up product development. It was not just used for this, but it was also used to show all the people who are developing a product what they are working on. Because everybody works on a small part. And he would make this model. It would stand there in the middle of a room, and people could see it. They would know the thing that I'm working on is eventually going to end up in a product that's going to look like this. So it has a very big meaning. It's very significant for us. He also made models like this, which were more about experiments on interaction. How should a drawer open of a printer? Can people reach it, etc. So it was really used in different stages of product development. Well, this is not the type of model making that we do anymore. The models we make now are like this. So I brought some examples, and some of them are from the ink corner. I just mentioned we develop our own inks. So we make models like this to predict the water activity in inks, to predict the absorption rate. So if you put a drop of ink on a paper, how fast is it going to be absorbed by the paper, those kind of things. We also use models, software models, to analyze our competitor machines, which is also interesting. We also, this is another one from the ink domain, how actually a drop of ink is jetted on the paper. We model all these kind of things. We do it also to be able to do testing before a machine is completely finished. And we use it, also virtual reality models that you see here, to train our service technicians, because our machines, they are very big. They are not always available for all the service technicians that need to be trained, so we have a virtual reality training that people can actually use, and they can see the machine, they can move parts, etc. And it's very helpful for educating and training them. Well, it's quite different from the picture that I showed you, right? This nice wooden model that you can take a picture of and then compare to this. And, well, these models, they're all nice, but most of them, they only show a part of a print system. And what we are doing now is basically we want to create a complete print system in a model. And this, I think, is very exciting. It's also very challenging, because I told you, I gave you my confession that I like to touch things. We have a lot of people in the company who like to touch things. And if we go to this digital and this virtual domain, it's very difficult for them. What we do when we develop products is we create a project. we put a lot of people together in one room, and they are going to develop a printer together. Typically, it looks like this. It doesn't look very digital. It looks a bit messy. There's just a lot of people and a lot of desks, and in the middle of a room, typically there is a prototype. That's one of the first things we do. When we start a project, we start working to build one prototype to see, can we make this work? And it's a nice thing, because all these people, they can see it every day. They walk there, they can touch it, they can interact with it, they put their stuff in it, and it grows over time. And now we said, for one of our next projects, we're not going to do that anymore. We're only going to make a virtual print system. Whew, it's very difficult. A lot of people tell me it's impossible. It's not people with a background in software development. It's other people who tell me that it's not possible. And I understand the hesitation. Because this thing that these people were used to, this model that they can just walk towards and interact with, it's not there anymore in this form. There will be still some physical setups, of course. We cannot develop a printer without doing any physical setups. But there will also be a lot of models. And this will all be connected in a way. But for people, I think it's going to be very difficult because it's not so tangible anymore. And that is why I think connection is such an important skill. Because we have a responsibility, also from the software domain. This software is going into all these disciplines. It's going into mechanics, it's going into electronics, and the mechanical developers don't have the expertise by themselves to create models. They need software developers for it, but the software developers also cannot do all of this because they're not mechanical experts. So we need to work together. But for these people, when I walk around in these rooms, we have many of those rooms, I think not having their model feels a bit like this, feels a bit like a black hole. What's happening here? Well, I don't trust that this is going to work. So I really think we have a responsibility here from software to reach out and to connect to all these people. And for me, this brings me to the end. So I want to sum up the 3 soft skills that I just introduced that I think are very important. The curiosity for your customers, but also for the people around you. The courage to take decisions. Also the courage to dare to fail, because things will not always go right the first time, luckily. It would be very boring if everything would go right the first time. And the third one is connection, a real connection to the people around you. Well, this brings me to the end, but it also brings me back to where we started with this painting, the human touch in software. And you remember these bacteria I talked about, probably. Of course, there's a lot of bad bacteria out there, but there's also a lot of good bacteria, and they are crucial for us to survive, to exist. And if I think about software, I think software, a lot of things can go very wrong if software is going bad. But I think, on the other hand, software is also the thing that drives our innovation. Software is driving our world. All the exciting things at the moment that are happening in the world, it's all software. So we need to be very conscious and very careful about this. And we all know, I mentioned AI earlier. Software is no longer just being made by people. Also, AI can make software. And AI can do a lot of things. AI can do decision making, they can do a lot of data analysis. AI can do many things. But there's also still some things that AI cannot do. I thought I should try to recreate this touch of God with an image generating thing, AI-based stuff. This picture I made in October. And at the first glance you think, oh, it's pretty good. Until you look a bit closer, then you notice that the human hand has like 6 real fingers and 1 kind of pinky thing. Also the robot has 6 fingers, but maybe that's normal for robots, I don't know. And I did this in October, and I tried this again yesterday. I used a couple of different AI-based image generators. Well, yeah, look for yourself. This one is also interesting. I think this one I also liked. I don't know if this is a handshake. Maybe it's a new style of handshake. This one, I thought it was pretty okay, but yeah, I think AI can be very smart, but there's also still a lot of things that AI cannot do. AI really sucks still at drawing hands. Drawing hands is very, very difficult. It's, by the way, also very difficult for people. When I had drawing classes in university, drawing hands was like super, super difficult. It needs a lot of energy. It's also the case for AI. So AI can do a lot. AI cannot do this. What I think AI can also not do is replace the value of human creativity and human emotion in decision making. Because decision making is not just a rational thing, it's also an emotional thing. I think AI will not replace curiosity, it will not replace courage, it will not replace connection. And I think these are the things that are crucial when we develop new products. So yes, AI is super exciting, but it's also not going to solve all the problems in the world. I want to end with 3 pieces of advice based on my own experience. First, make software visible. I think we have a responsibility as a software community to make people understand what we're doing. I really think that is needed, especially with all these new developments that people find very scary. What I think is needed to do this is also to make yourself visible. Go out there, talk to people, connect. And the third one is be kind and have fun. It's a really hard world. I know everybody is under pressure. You can be tough, of course. Be tough on decisions, be tough on the content. But be kind to each other and also have fun. I think it will make the world a much nicer place if we act like this. And for me, this is the human touch in software. Thanks.
We just wait. Yeah, it was a big applause, but
thanks.
I think you deserved it.
Thank you.
For me personally, it was first love when I saw your 3 C's a couple of months ago, and I really love it. And I would like to bring it a little bit special attention to
great.
you, because we have a special shirt for you.
Very nice. I like it a lot. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much
Thank
for
you.
your inspirational talk.
Thank you.
And hope all of us will be inspired for it and use it in the future.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
As many of you know, we have a short break, and after the break we have 2 talks over here in this session. Daniel and Luisa will talk about the future of state of the art of TYPO3 in the community, and on the other side we will have a session about version 13 of technical talk of TYPO3. See you right in a few minutes.
Okay, after this very inspirational talk, we will continue with our program. So, yeah, I think almost everybody of you will know them. So, please, a warm applause for Luisa and Daniel for their session. Thank you.
All right, so I'm not sure if there's an introduction needed. Thank you, fellow Norwegian guy.
And then you're going to end with, thanks for coming, goodbye. Okay, never mind.
So it was nice having you. Goodbye.
Let's start with your name.
Would you introduce me? Because it's so weird introducing myself.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, that's Daniel. Daniel is the CEO of TYPO3 GmbH. He also has an agency, or he used to have an agency who did TYPO3 for 25.
For your age.
You're old. Years. And yeah, if you want to follow him, he regularly posts really inspirational content on X, on LinkedIn, and on whatever else you use. And you can reach him there. So, your turn.
Right, and next to me, the 24-something-ish year old Luisa Faßbender, formerly known as marketing team lead of the TYPO3 Association. She worked at, and still known as the marketing team lead of the TYPO3 Association. And Luisa was, or is in TYPO3 since 7, 8 years?
Depends on how well you listened.
Oh. So, good one.
It's
so
8.
Benji wouldn't have done that to me on stage. All right. So, and yeah, she's in TYPO3 since 8 years. She worked at a TYPO3 agency in Düsseldorf. Ingo, thanks for handing her to TYPO3 GmbH. So she joined the company last year in July. At least that's correct. And she joined to care for the partner program of the TYPO3 GmbH. And just a short introduction, who of you does not know about TYPO3? Because last year we had a few attendees that did not know anything about TYPO3. Only if you're serious.
We have to bring out the punching bags again.
So you are probably from a university and you are forced to be here because there's a teacher in the back row, or? Perfect. All right. So that's why we prepared something different this year. That's forward. TYPO3 CMS. For those of you who do not know. So, I hope I do not have to explain the term CMS. If I do, it's Content Management System. And TYPO3 is a content management system, one of the oldest available probably. So we figured that out last year when we had our 25th anniversary. We are older than WordPress and all of the other younglings out there. And we're mostly PHP based. I think you can do a TYPO3 integration almost solely with Symfony right now, but it's PHP based. And yeah, we are on the market since 1998, and we do mostly small, medium enterprises, government websites, and enterprise websites. So whenever you experience content being spit out by a system, it's probably TYPO3. The larger it gets, the more likely it is, at least in Middle Europe. Correct? I'm always seeking approval. I'm in a church, so you have to believe.
I believe.
Okay. So, and because we are one of the oldest content management systems, we do have a structure that is quite unique. So I think we're the only true open source project. That's why we have a TYPO3 ambassador over here. And just to explain that a little, that is for all of you, because even experienced TYPO3 users do not know this. We are owned by no one, or basically we are owned by you, if you are a TYPO3 association member. And here's where I like to shame and blame. Who is a member of the TYPO3 association? Great. And to the others, why not? We have a community membership that is very cheap, and it comes at a rate, a yearly rate, that is at
€7.92.
Perfect. So anyone can become a member of the TYPO3 association. This means you basically own or are part of the TYPO3 association. The association is the body on the left. And then you have multiple powers. You can elect the TYPO3 board. Again, we have one board member here, so Matthias is currently a sitting board member. Then, so the election takes place at the General Assembly, and I'd like to welcome you all to Switzerland this year, because the General Assembly this year will be in Zurich. Hotel accommodation might be a little bit more expensive than usual, but it's worth a trip. So, at the General Assembly, you will elect the board and the BCC. What is the BCC? Edward is the BCC, and Ingo as well. So what is it? Business Control Committee. So these guys basically cover funding processes, budget and ideas, all of these things, and are watching the TYPO3 board once in a while, or all of the time. And then the board basically is the supervision of the teams. The most known team is probably the core team, so anything TYPO3 core related. We have multiple teams as well, like best practice team, motivation team, documentation team, marketing team. Oh, there it is. The education team, thanks Tom. Who is a member of the education team? Perfect. So these guys are working on those certifications that freak you out when you do certifications. So you might have a talk with them. And as if that isn't enough, we also have committees, like the educational committee, like universities can join the committee and influence decisions and strategy of the TYPO3 board or the association as a whole. And because that isn't enough, I'll go on because the next slide is easier. Yep. I can move on. The TYPO3 association founded the TYPO3 company in 2018. What we do is basically pretty easy. We are, what we do, we are basically covering funding for the TYPO3 project. So in the past, it was only your membership fees that paid for the product development, and right now the product development is paid off the revenue of the TYPO3 company. We have our headquarters in Düsseldorf. We are roughly 20 people. A few of them are not in Düsseldorf, a few of them are located all around Germany. We have one colleague that is in the UK. Matthias is partly employed by the company as well. So we are growing, and we're basically doing central services for the whole TYPO3 ecosystem. So, and what do we do? Currently, solely ELTS, certifications, and the TYPO3 events. There will be a few more things added over the course of the year, but we'll get to that. Already took that up front.
I love when you're prepared.
Yeah, that's. I'm not doing that very often, especially not in English. So, and a few things have changed, but that's what you have to cover, probably, because I shouldn't talk about myself in third person.
Why not? Okay, so in the beginning of 2024, as you might have read in our press release, Daniel was announced as the permanent CEO after being an interim for the longest 3 months of his life, which was 11 months. Soak it in. Besides that, Daniel has been working on finally developing a strategy on where to go with the company, and we've been ongoingly hiring experts in different fields to just strengthen our company and be a little bit more diverse and less technical than we've been in the past.
Yeah, because for those who do not know me, I used to do coding a long time ago, and that's such a long time ago I shouldn't do it again. Yeah, more service-oriented, more people-oriented. I should continue, right? Perfect, here we are. All right, so that's already my part. That's for the members and the non-members. What did we do last year? We sold a lot of extended long-term support licenses for TYPO3, which usually goes to large corporations and governments. In total, it was 950 ELTS licenses. To give you a rough idea of what an ELTS license is, it extends the support of the TYPO3 product for 3 years, so you can buy a license each year. And the regular license has a price tag of 2,800 euros, so you can do the math by yourself. that goes fully into the product and the employees of the company which are doing core development as well. So we have quite some financial capability. I think that's very interesting to know. What else did we do? We did 500 on-site and online certifications. That is, I think, almost twice what we did the year before. That is due to an occurrence that happened last year because, should I take that away?
You're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to do it anyways. So the German government decided to basically switch to TYPO3 on all of the official websites, and that caused massive certifications because one of the requirements for the tender was a TYPO3 certification. That's why we had 500 of them. And we had a lot of events. Some of them were first-timers again, like the TYPO3 Developer Days. You knew that before. They happen all over the years, and they grew a lot. So we had 450 participants only at the Developer Days. And then we had the first TYPO3 conference since 2019, so the last one was in The Hague. And we had the next one, or the first official again, 2023 in Düsseldorf. We will have the next one. Did I do that? You did. And yeah, so TYPO3 Awards is always a part of the TYPO3 conference. And I think that was missing a lot. So I personally was missing to celebrate the TYPO3 project. I hope you all did as well. And that evening at the award ceremony showed everyone missed celebrating the TYPO3 events, the success, and the community. So I could just read it. Is Jonathan here? Not really. So we have the winner of the TYPO3 Website of the Year award who received it at this camp. If you talk to him about it, he will probably cry. That's how emotional it was. All right, and now finally the economic stuff where I'm feeling secure and safe. We changed a lot in the last year. I think I announced it last year in Venlo that we will change service pricing for the members based on their membership levels, and that's what we really did. Like I said, you do the math. We installed discounts for each TYPO3 member. So to put it in a more concrete way, we are trying to make business easier and better with us than without us. So we have a lot of free riders. Rick, I think that's the correct name, right? Free riders are basically people benefiting from open source projects or any other community project without giving back to the community. That's something that we changed, which means you can still get everything the TYPO3 project does at a certain price and at a certain rate, but it gets cheaper the more you purchase and the higher your membership level is, which means you're either giving us money or you're showing your commitment via a membership, a partnership, or any other part of commitment. Just for the record, discounts are usually silver membership 25% on each, on any service, gold membership 30%, platinum membership 45%. And we do have platinum members in the house, like Max Surf, for example, is a platinum member. We had a very nice talk last year because they were the first ones just doing the math. How much service do we purchase each year? And the math added up, so thank you for your platinum membership.
Ooh.
All right, and then just more numbers. We sold more ELTS than ever before for version 10. That is compared to 2021, so we are comparing ELTS cycles. We had less market potential for that ELTS version, and still our sales were way higher than the year before, the comparing year before. And in a number, 35% more revenue than version 9, which enables us to do a little bit more for developing markets and marketing as a whole.
Now it's
That's
my
where
turn.
should I give it a go?
Yes.
You want the stick?
It works like that. I need the numbers anyways. So, for the people who don't know TYPO3 perfectly, we do have 2 LTS releases, which are covered officially at the same time always. So we release a new LTS version every 18 months, and then the second one just goes 18 months after that. You have 3 years of official support, and then the 3 to 4 years of ELTS, which Daniel already covered. So I thought I'd bring a couple of current usage statistics, just so that you know. Our current versions are 11, 12, and 10? 10, yeah. So I hope you can you read it? Probably not that well, right? Okay, so the dark ones, all the way on the left, those are the really, really old versions. So we're talking like 4.5, 6, 7. They've run out of ELTS at this point, but they are still pretty much in use, as you can see if you follow them down to the right side. On the opposite, you can see the light blue one, which is version 10, which increased in usage in the last couple of months insanely. And then you can also see that a lot of people waited until the release of 11.5, which makes 11.5 the most used LTS version out there right now. And a little sad note, the little blue line on the bottom, that's the most current version, so that would be version 12, but a lot of people chose to use 10 or 11 instead. Never mind. So that's probably a little bit more interesting. That's the current statistics as of September of last year. So there's a website called t3versions.com, which is done by Torben Hansen. He does it on a voluntary basis, and he crawls all TYPO3 websites he can crawl with his tool on a quarterly basis. So you get quarterly reports on which versions are the most used ones, do they have ELTS or LTS, which PHP version do they run on, etc. pp. So if you didn't know that before, it's pretty interesting to look at, especially when comparing different cycles. So this would be September, and then we can see a slight change when it comes to January. But the more interesting part is that one. So that's again comparing September to January. And you can see a lot of websites which are using TYPO3 are running on outdated versions which are not supported anymore, which is a security risk and a bold choice to say so. But since the last 3 months, we can also see that there has been a pretty big increase in ELTS support. So a lot of people actually upgraded from outdated versions to current versions, and they didn't even use ELTS, which is pretty good.
Or bad from a financial side of things.
But it's better to have them supported than unsupported.
True.
Yeah. So just to conclude, you can see that the adoption rate of version 12 is still really, really low, and that might be due to a couple of technical implications when upgrading from 10 to a higher version, because I've heard that that's not the easiest part to do. Our 11.5 LTS is currently the most used one, and almost 30% of all current TYPO3 websites run on outdated old versions on 7.6 or older. And that dates them back to like 2014, 2016?
A long time ago.
Yeah, so a lot of old stuff is out there.
2014, just to remind you, is when we had the Ice Bucket Challenge in the internet. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll get back to that point in a couple of slides, but just to finish up that topic, as you can see, a lot of the, or not a lot, but like 2.5% of all websites switched from an outdated version to a current one, which is good. But also, the last point is probably the most interesting one. So TYPO3 8.7 ELTS is it's the first version who received a 4th year of ELTS, which isn't something we're going to do anymore. Besides, if you're in the partner program, then we're going to offer the 4th year of ELTS, but it's not going to be anymore like that because it was an interesting choice, and yeah.
So from an agency perspective, if you calculated to update your project after 6 years because you had the full supporting cycle, regular LTS and ELTS 3 years extended on top, maybe I shouldn't sit here. And you did a plan with your client, and you had to roll it. You wanted to roll it out in a certain amount of time, and all of a sudden, a 4th year of ELTS was released. You may have lost some business because a client that can extend a project for 1 year longer for 2,200 euros might tend to do that instead of doing the 5-digit upgrade you tried to sell. So that created a lot of unhappiness, let's call it unhappiness, also on my side, because I've been on the agency side at that point. That's why we switched back to the promise we gave, 3 years LTS and 3 years ELTS. And if you want to have a 4th year of LTS, you can still get it, but you should work with someone that is very close to the project, which means most likely a TYPO3 member and a TYPO3 partner. That's where you get a 4th year. And I almost forgot, we have 2 platinum members, Mitwald and MaxSurf. So, of course, each client or each TYPO3 user could get an ELTS version for the 4th year at Mitwald and J. Weiland and any other TYPO3 partner. That should bring business to TYPO3 agencies as well. So just to cover the full cycle.
Thank you. And I think just the last point is the most important one, which will have some implications for the beginning of April, because 12% of all websites are still running on TYPO3 8.7, and the 4th year runs out on the 31st of March. So we might see like a 12% increase in the unsupported versions, which makes it like 42% instead of 30%. So that's almost 50%, and that's a little bit much for outdated versions. So we're currently working on an end-of-life campaign, just letting people know who are still running on 8.7 or older, just like poking them a little bit from the company side and being like, hey, you're running on a really old website, you should probably choose one of the agencies to help you upgrade your site.
Yeah, so the small promise, we are trying to avoid that drop in market share we will most likely experience if that happens.
Okay, so what's new? Do you want to talk a little bit about the background of the partner program?
Next slide. So we have a new partner program. Already talked about that. That is catered to consultants, agencies, and technology partners. And pardon me, but I will use anyone inside that room that is a partner to explain how it works. I do not see a consultant partner here, but you probably all know Wolfgang Wagner. Yes, who doesn't? So at least if you're German speaking, he's basically the German voice of TYPO3 because he's doing all the explanatory videos. He is a consulting partner, and that single person is interested in giving talks, doing trainings, all of that stuff for agencies and technology partners. That would explain a consultant partner with excellence. Consultant partners are also interested in maybe giving talks about testing at a TYPO3 agency, all of these things. So Andy, you could probably become a TYPO3 consultant partner. Maybe the next 10 minutes, so we can sign it right here. This then goes to TYPO3 agencies, so MaxSurf would be the TYPO3 agency of my choice right now, so I see a few more, okay. But a TYPO3 agency is interested in talking about their cases, showing their expertise, and gaining TYPO3 leads and some security. So you basically do the work for the market. So you're doing the projects, you roll them out, you consult, you're basically doing the heavy lifting. And then we do have technology partners, and we do have one right here, like Mitwald. They want agencies as their clients because they do all of the stuff that's in the background, like web hosting, deployment, all of these things at a larger scale. And technology partners are most likely to have many, many TYPO3 solution partners as clients. So that's how we've been setting that up. What does it mean? So we introduced the partner program last year. It was almost cost-free for the first year. So we approached platinum members, gold members, and former TYPO3 technology partners or partners of the former partner program to get them in. We had more than 20 partners joining until TYPO3Con. We tried to have the first few partner meetings, one in Berlin, one in Dresden. So we're trying to get networking up in the TYPO3 community. So you should trust each other. You should maybe elaborate on if one project is good for you, or you should give it to a partner agency because they might be better at that kind of project than you are. The other way around works as well. And of course, the membership level impacts partner pricing as well. So to give you a rough idea, what a TYPO3 agency has to raise for a TYPO3 solution partnership, that's 15,000 euros, and for a technology partner, that's 50,000 euros. So you most likely would like to get a discount on that by raising your membership, and but that brings stability and security to the financing of the TYPO3 project.
And A point that was missing in the past is, that's why we're down, trust, feedback, and transparency. So in the past, there was a partner program in the past, but the pricing was really intransparent. Basically, there were like 2 different partner levels, I think, but like people paid insanely different prices for these. Like the one agency would be paying like 500 euros, the other one's like 10,500, and it would be the same. And that's, yeah, again, it created a lot of unhappiness. That's why we said there's one pricing, you get a membership discount, take it or leave it. So it's just easier to communicate and to actually build trust within the community, because there was a lot of burnt ground, as you would say in German. Yeah, and also the part of feedback. Also, Marketing Factory was a partner agency before. I think we had like 2 meetings in the past where things were discussed, and besides that, that's it. Feedback was taken and then it got stored in like a random cupboard and not taken into account anymore again. So we're actually trying to also open up the communication channels from TYPO3 to the agencies and vice versa, but also, as you said, with the partner meetings in between the agencies, because that's something that really got lost during the pandemic too. People were like in their own little bubble, not talking to each other. And just speaking from the Berlin round, there were, I think, 6 or 7 Berlin agencies who've been on the market for like 15, 18, 20 years, and they didn't know each other. And it was like, hey, you've been sitting here just right across the corner. I didn't know you do that. And then we found out that a couple of projects got actually handed from one agency to the other. So, yeah, a lot of blabbering, I know.
A safe space to talk.
So, I'll just take over.
Yeah, 'cause you're the partner manager, right?
Just the current status quo. As you know, we had, I think, exactly 20 early adopters until T3Con, and then we officially launched the partner program with like a big blog post and an announcement on the 1st of January. So as of right now, we do have 35 partners covering all of the 3 partner levels, which is great because it's a lot of movement that's happening right now and a lot of commitment, which is really lovely to see. And also, we do something which is called lead classification form for everyone who gets into the partner program, where we're actually asking agencies and consultant partners, hey, which projects would you be interested in? Because, yeah, as you always say, everyone does, like, how do you call it? Individualization and like TYPO3 development, which isn't as a USP. If you talk to 35 people and everyone says, hey, that's my USP too, it's not so unique anymore. So we actually found out that we're currently, with the current partner landscape, able to cover all possible project sizes and requirements. So from like different industry sectors, use cases, project numbers, certified employees, whatever. It's really great to see how diverse and how strong the partner agency network is right now. And also, yeah, we're covering all areas of activity, so we're actually able to funnel leads and give them, because we can cover trainings, we can cover consultancy, we can cover projects, and we can cover something like hosting partners and infrastructure. So yeah, done.
Should I press? Woo!
Yeah, and as I said, 35 partner agencies with like, some of the agencies have multiple hundred employees working there. That's a lot of strength and a lot of oomph coming to the community, which helps us and the agencies create a lot of visibility through, thank you, for example, stuff like actual updated case studies, use cases, and an overhaul of the current industry sectors. I don't know, I think a lot of people were at the conference, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on the case studies again, but if you take a look at typo3.com and at the current case studies, it's interesting because a lot of the projects listed as TYPO3 projects are in Drupal now, or offline, or they are really up to date and they are like based on TYPO3 6 or something, so yeah, it was needed to do an overhaul, and that's what we're doing with the partners right now, and just having a base level of quality and updatedness. And
so we are finally able to do our housekeeping, basically. All right. And
that would have been the slide for the GSP.
And now the story I talked about up front, given that the German government is switching to TYPO3, that's creating a lot of momentum for the TYPO3 ecosystem. So that's pretty interesting. It's not only interesting, it also has a value, so that 3 tenders covering all of the development and the migration for the TYPO3 project of the German government are roughly 110 million euros over the course of 4 years. So that had a large impact on whatever we did in the ecosystem, because that drains a lot of resources from the economy towards public sector. And of course we have to ramp up everything we do, like training, education, HR, all of these things. And to give you an outlook on what that might look like, the TYPO3 users in the public sector, so that's solely Germany. TYPO3 already had a usage of more than 30% in the public sector. And that 110 million tender of the German government is only made to switch those 19% government site builder websites to TYPO3. So you can get an estimate on.
And also the 9% of core media users, which were like the version before.
But you get a rough feeling on what kind of a market we're in. So given that the German government is spending that much money on switching a few websites, if you add that up, I think, we are covering thousands of employees each year, at least in the DACH region, or TYPO3.
Since we already switched around the order, we are just going to show you a lovely photo of our first partner day, which we had in Berlin at the end of last year. So for all of the partners, you should have received an email by me. We're going to have the second partner meeting in Dresden in 2 weeks, and we're going to talk about something we are going to talk about later. So, good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit of marketing and market insights. As Daniel mentioned, I've been doing the TYPO3 Association Marketing Team Lead for 4.5 years as of right now, and we are finally at the point where we can actually do stuff, because that wasn't possible in the past. So, one of the first things we actually did at the end of last year was a sales enablement survey to just get some feedback from the community over, hey, what do you need in order to be able to actually sell TYPO3? Because we can guess, but getting actual feedback is always more helpful. So, why did we conduct the survey? First of all, we were, and we are still, missing basic sales enablement materials. So, Jam probably knows that there's a ticket in the OSP Asana which says, hey, we need a what is TYPO3 presentation. Like, would be a good start for a product to have a product presentation. It's been often requested throughout the past years, but we just didn't have the manpower to do it. And we needed to get an actual insight into what's needed, and also we just wanted to reactivate the community and the ecosystem again and get some people moving, because again, we can only work if we get feedback. So, just to give you a structure, I think a couple of people sitting here actually did the survey. We asked for a little bit of background information from the participants in order to be able to classify between agencies, freelancers, technology providers. You get the drift. Then we asked for the top features for winning and losing TYPO3 sales. Then we did a feature importance rating, and at the end we had some open questions, just actually asking, hey, what do you need from us? Because we can create actual tickets out of this. In the end, 43 people answered, and they named benefits and features in 25 categories. And I would like to give you a quick overview. So we clustered all of the results, and in the end, the top 3 to 5 features or benefits from TYPO3 when winning sales were named as, I know it's a little bit too small, so I'm going to read it. The number 1 with like almost 20 people answering is security and stability. So we should probably talk about that. We're pretty secure and pretty stable. Then on number 2, we had flexibility. On number 3, we had multilingual support. Then we had multi-site and multi-domain on the 4th one. And we had, I should have brought my glasses, update stability and support cycles. So yeah, just the basic features of TYPO3, which haven't been talked about enough, were actually the ones that were winning sales. So we should probably talk about it. Then on the other side, we also asked for the top TYPO3 features when losing sales. And then we get into the problem that we are a CMS who is 25 years old. So the number 1 point which was named is, it's too complex and it's not sexy anymore. Then we had, the complexity of the system itself, because I'd say a lot of TYPO3 creators just hand out admin accesses to like high schools and higher educations, and they are like really, yeah, you know how much access you get as an admin, and it's probably overwhelming.
So that's called configure your backend properly. Spare the user what he shouldn't see and give him the tools he needs.
Yeah, and then on number 3 we had the maintenance costs due to upgrades, which we also covered before. We had the missing user-friendly core features like front-end editing, which was named like, I don't know, 50 times probably by 43 people. And then we also had the custom development costs because, yeah, anything that's not in the core probably needs to be developed by itself. Yeah, then also pretty interestingly, we asked what do other CMSs do better or communicate better? Doesn't necessarily have to actually be better, it's just enough if they talk about it. And that's, again, it fits with our losing sales number 1. It is a complex and outdated backend and the backend usability. Then, of course, it's a buzzword, API first, Mach, headless, you name it. We also do that, as you know if you visited yesterday's workshop by Markopedia. Then we had the theme selection, which is actually going to be included in version 13, if you read the roadmap, yay. And yeah, the ease of actually integrating third-party systems. I'm going to publish all of that on typo3.org anyway, so it's just a rough run-through, because I thought it was pretty interesting. And yeah, we also did the benefit rating, so not the open answers, but like actually 1 to 5, which one is most important. Again, multi-site, multilingual, performance and scalability, extensibility and flexibility, the professionalism behind TYPO3's open source CMS, and then the comprehensive content management abilities. That's a quick rundown of what we asked for and what we received. And then we had a marketing sprint in the beginning of February with a couple of people sitting in the audience. And we took this sales enablement survey and analyzed the results, and then we are currently creating a website, no, not a website, a landing page, where you can find all of it and actually reuse it. Just click there, download it, and use it for your own goods, because, again, not every agency needs their own why TYPO3 excels in SMBs in Germany presentation if we can do it centrally. So that's currently being built up. As you can see, it is still saying, oh, yeah, you can probably not read it, so yeah, better. Yeah, we're going to talk or show you where to find analytics on version statistics, on TYPO3 usage, why TYPO3 is good for different industry sectors, features, services, etc. pp. So that's currently in the making. Which brings us to the TYPO3 business of tomorrow.
Yeah, so any open source project needs funding. We hope to not be dependent on ELTS someday in the future. So this creates 2 problems. It's currently paying for most of the stuff TYPO3 does, so we're relying on outdated versions to pay for open source development, which is weird by itself. And the second problem it creates, Andy is doing all of the ELTS services, so we have to find something else for him to do if he's not doing ELTS anymore. This will be, TYPO3 has a very strong brand, and we're trying to get in between, not in between, but we are trying to benefit from each and every client agency relation. So we have to be in there somewhere, because usually it would be like, if each agency dedicated 1% of their revenue towards the TYPO3 project, we would have a massive marketing department. We would cover each and every market in the world, at least those interested in open source, so probably not Russia and not China, but most of the others. We're not doing this, and this is mostly because we have, again, a lot of free riders, so we are trying to use our brand and the outreach to create leads, give them towards the agencies that are close to us, that serve these clients best, and we might get something back as a return, and that should cover the funding of the project.
Because? Click.
Because?
Because if you would have clicked the button, it would have been a beautiful
I wanted
next
to
step.
but I'm not done.
But you should have been done.
No! Psst, get me out of here. That's my daily life. Am I allowed to talk about support and training again?
No.
Okay. So, and after the lead, we are also doing project support, like for the government site builder of the for the German government. We offered for the first time a TYPO3 official supported project, which means we are partly in the whole project process. We are in each meeting and we are trying to make the core product better by listening to a large client that is using and integrating TYPO3. And just a short process how it works. We do not get changes into the TYPO3 core easily. So usually if you do a patch or anything, that has to be approved by our core mergers. They are more likely to approve small changes to the TYPO3 core because you can oversee it, you can review it, that's easier to handle, and that's getting merged pretty quick. If you're trying to change things like the whole backend should look different, that's a hard thing to do because our core mergers are like, are you really setting up a merge request that has, I don't know, 5,000 lines of code? I'm not doing this, can you please do it in smaller portions? They probably won't do that, and such a large project like the government site builder will affect the TYPO3 core in many ways. And that shouldn't create a feeling of a government changing the TYPO3 core, because that would be totally wrong. And we have to just support the whole project on a communication side with the core team, so anyone involved is more likely to apply to changes that might feel hard if you wouldn't do all the marketing and support stuff. So that's one of the revenue streams we're working on, at least for the core. And we're doing certifications as well, and yes, we are trying to build up trainings also, because we talked about 500 certifications we did in 2023. Surprise, only 302 were passed, so this means I think there's training needed for the TYPO3 ecosystem, because 200 participants failing their certification might cause some frustration. So we're trying to change that as well, and trainings usually come at a small fee, so that should also fund the project. Okay?
I'll allow it.
Okay. So this, the cost.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Because we have to secure today for tomorrow. So this means when each and every of our revenue streams is getting outdated, we have to find something else, and we do not only have to find the money for it, we also have to find the newer generation to do that. So most of the guys sitting here, you're well above your 40s, probably. So we're in, that's, yeah, you're right. You're the youngest ones in here, and even you look old. No, we're a very old project because most of us just started 20 years ago. So we have to onboard new generations, and that's happening via multiple things. One, I'm just including you guys, you should get a perspective on, is there a career in TYPO3? Someone should tell you, yes, no, but you should get a feeling for it. So I'd say always yes, but there are multiple careers out there, so we should market that more attractive, and in the end, we should have a technology that is easy to approach. So if you have to learn TYPO3 legacy for 3 years, I think you'll get frustrated and might switch to something different. Right? And that also includes not only development, but marketing, documentation, basically anything a company needs to do. We have to fill the ongoing gaps with a younger generation that is motivated and will carry the torch from here. Yeah. That's why we defined a younger generation starts below the age of 35.
Yeah, so even I would consider myself still pretty young, but looking at the broader scheme of things, I'm also going like in the direction of turning 30. And if I'm one of the youngest, that's probably not a good sign, because like there's a lot of people younger than me who could be included. So one of the things we raised is the TYPO3 Surf Camp, which is happening in the beginning of April in Fuerteventura, which's goal it is to actually just support young talent, get them into the community, so that hopefully in 20 years we're sitting here and being like, do you still remember in Fuerteventura 20 years ago? And like build our own community, because our community is getting old and we just need to build up the new generation, because otherwise the project might die down in a couple of decades.
It's a hard analogy. Dying is hard.
It's not dying, it's like getting outdated is a good term. Okay. So in the end, we're going to have 6 cross-functional teams, so covering everything from like project management, marketing, front-end, back-end, integration, whatever, which are going to be actively working on version 13. So they are going to be included in the next big release of TYPO3, which is a good thing. And yeah, we are completely sold out of, or not sold out, booked out of the places for the surf camp. So there will be 30 attendees between 18 and 35 going to Fuerteventura in just a couple of weeks.
Are they paying for that themselves?
No, actually not.
Good question, Matthias.
Thank you, Matthias. That's actually going to be supported by the TYPO3 project. So this is an official task, timing, I don't know, tactic to get people to get into TYPO3.
That was correct. And so just to give you a perspective on how the TYPO3 community looks at such events, we had complaints that people were like, why can't I join? I'm not that old.
I'm 55.
And we've been setting the age to 35. So that's the TYPO3 community. We had literally people complaining they're not allowed to join because
they also wanted to go surfing, and they've been doing it for 20 years, just like, that's the problem. Yeah.
Okay, so, and what we would like to encourage all of the people that are like, why couldn't I go surfing? Please visit all the regular TYPO3 events and bring your young employees, your colleagues, and anyone interested. So thanks for bringing a few students. We appreciate it. That can happen on multiple events. So we have camps like this multiple times a year all over all over Europe. We have one in Nantes in France. A lot of them are in Germany. One is in Zurich, one is in Vienna. So if you want to visit a nice city and learn something about TYPO3, you're welcome, especially bring the newer generation with you. Then we have some sprints and team events all over the year. You can bring them as well. So you can always join a TYPO3 team. The marketing team, for example, was lacking young talent for a long time. It grew a lot. Now it's bigger than it was before. And surprise, we finally get things done if you bring in new people. And they're not only visiting friends from 2 centuries ago. So it brings some energy to the project. And if you need any guidance in onboarding, I think that is probably something that is just a generational conflict. If you need someone to talk to, especially the 3 of you in the back, most of the TYPO3 people are really friendly. So you can talk to them even if they have a gray beard. You can have a drink with them, and they like to talk about a career and the product itself. So if you need someone, you can always just enter a discussion. It's pretty easy. So you do not have to do that via TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So real talk, easy. And yeah.
Do you know what's next?
I can look.
Good.
What to expect in 2024. So, that's easy because it's pricing again. What we did last year with the ELTS discounts now applies to anything we do in the ecosystem. So certifications do have a new pricing model. So we used to give away vouchers to TYPO3 members. That was very complicated, and most of our members did not use their vouchers because they were hidden in their My TYPO3 account somewhere on the right top corner. Right now, if you purchase a certification at a TYPO3 online portal, you'll get your membership discount anyway. That also happens for TYPO3 events. So we have some developer days tickets from the early bird pricing left. If you buy them with your membership, you'll get a discount as well. So 25% for silver, 10% for bronze, one time, 30% gold, 45% platinum. So get your tickets now because they're very cheap and we give them away for that rate. And yeah, but that's something we have to prepare. We're trying to leverage the know-how needs for official tenders in the German region. So you should need the qualification to show your skills and expertise. Next.
Next.
Developer days, we already talked about this. I think we have to be faster. So August, always in the summer, located in Karlsruhe at the Keynote Hotel. It's 3 days of TYPO3 coding and workshops, so it's a good place to meet people. Only difference between this and last year is the party will be at the last evening, not the second evening, because we don't want you guys to be wasted on the third day. We don't want you to be wasted on the third day. And if you want to submit a talk, I think the submission deadline is somewhere end of March.
It's just as if it's been there on the slides.
Yeah, it's in my
all
back,
the time.
31st of March. How should I look at it? And yeah, tickets are for sale. If you're not having one yet, get one.
Yeah, we actually, I just checked, we have 30 super early bird tickets left, so I'd probably be fast if I want some, because we only limited them to 100. 70 are already gone, so the next 30 will be quick as well.
Perfect. Next, we will have the TYPO3 conference as well. This time it will be at the end of the year to cover whole 2024 in a retro and to give an outlook on 2025, what we will do. It will be in Düsseldorf again. It will be a 3-day event this time, so we will have a public sector day that is in German. I'm partly sorry for that, but there's such a great interest from German public sector officials. We have to have a 3rd day, and that will be for the public sector, and I think that would most likely cater our exhibitors.
And same as for the developer days, the TYPO3 award gala will be on the last evening, because we had a lot of people not showing up on the 2nd day because they got too drunk on the 1st day. And we actually, I don't think you mentioned it in the beginning, but this time we also want to honor the TYPO3 community a little bit more, because in the last years the TYPO3 awards have been solely focused on projects and agencies, and this year we are, for example, giving out the TYPO3 award for the best TYPO3 camp, which this one would also classify for, so just so that you have it in mind, there will be a survey coming.
Yeah, so happy to see you there. And speeding up events, that's now for the agencies. We're doing 2 major events this year. One is Demexco in Cologne. That's basically an industry event, marketing, software, everything. We're having a large booth, I think minimum 100 square meters, TYPO3 and our partners. Same will happen for the Smart Country Convention in October in Berlin. If you are at the Smart Country Convention, you can also visit us, because I think the release party will be at the 15th of October. So if you want to celebrate the version 13 release with us, that can happen in Berlin or on the official site in Hamburg, or whatever you organize for yourself. So, and why do we do this? Because a number I would like to drop here, we're investing like 800,000 euros this year in official events and exhibitions. We're massively investing to increase the outreach of TYPO3 and create some more visibility with the partners. So that's a really great commitment, and thanks to the TYPO3 Association, because if we cannot pay for that by ourselves, we can ask for money at the TYPO3 Association. So that's also a good thing. And if you want to be present at any of these events as a company, talk to Luisa or me, because we're basically organizing it, and the more secure it is upfront, the less we have to worry about getting it done.
No, we're not going to do it.
No, we're not singing it. So we thought about this, but we're not doing it. So the basic call is let's create the future together, because we've all had a great past, because we were able to join that fantastic project 15, 20 or 20 something-ish years ago. And we want to enable the next generation to do that as well, and we should create the ground for it. So let's create the future together. No singing?
No singing.
No singing. Perfect. Then, thank you, and this is just a talk. Let's talk to each other over the course of the next 2 days, because we can only cover the surface here. most of the things happen at a social night over 1 or 2 beers, so feel free to talk to Luisa and me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Daniel
to the
and
lady.
Luisa, to the lady, yes, but we have for both of you, so of course. So thank you very much for all your insights of the late, looking this way. Yeah, thank you for all the latest insights in development, but also thank you very much for all your efforts and energy you're putting in and you will be putting in the next time. We really appreciate that and it's driving this community forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edward. Don't get drunk too soon.
Chocolade.